So now that you've got a leader, okay, you're going to kind of like think about what you're going to talk about their life in their situation. And basically, what Daniel came up with in his research was that individual leaders have their own, like each of us has a style, a default style. Like how many people have seen like, you know, Myers-Briggs or like any of those frameworks like that? I find them to be useful lenses to look through, right? I think we get tripped up if we think that this is like rigid or something. They're good lenses, right? So he came up with these 6 leadership styles. And in his work, he found that the leaders that he got to work with each one seemed to fall into one of these styles as their kind of default way of leading. And the second page that you've got summarizes each of the leadership styles. I'm going to walk through them kind of quickly for each style. I'm going to share just 3 bullet points. One is kind of a description of the style. The second one is like, what is this good for? And then the third is a quote that will like kind of summarize that leader's kind of approach. So, and I want to start off by saying that this isn't one of those progressions, right? For those of us who've been around the Agile space, right, there are words up here that we might think like, don't like that so much, right? And words up here we're like, oh, right? Like we might think coercive. Oh, no, you have to move yourself from coercive over to coaching. Right? And take my workshop and we'll teach you how to do that. What's really going on here is they're just different, right? And they have times they're more appropriate, more useful, times they're less. So, all right, coercive. So, kind of the essence of this style of leader is really driven to achieve, right? Like, we got to get this done, we're going to get it, go, we're going to, right? We're going to find a way. These leaders are really good at crisis, right? Because it's like, hey, everybody, let's go, right? We got to deal with this now. And the quote that kind of summarizes their approach is, do what I say. And honestly, I was going to emphasize it, like, do what I say now. Pace setting. So a pace setting leader is somebody who's really freaking good at what they do, right? Think of like an amazing lead engineer, right? They're just amazing at what they do. And so very much leading by example, right? And the qualities of a pace setting leader, right, are conscientious and initiative, right? So, and so this one is all about do as I do, right? Follow me, I'm going to show you the way, right? And do as I do, and maybe now. So authoritative. So think of an authority on the subject, right? Like, I don't know, maybe back when I was a wee little Agilist, there were these group of people that gathered in Snowbird. Jim, you know anything about this group of people?
No.
Yeah, right? So Jim is an authority, right? Jim really, really knows. And so the authoritative leader is self-confident, they've got a lot of empathy, right, for the people that they're leading, and what they're really good at is setting a direction, right? And oh my goodness, back in 2001, the Agile Manifesto, that set a direction, right, that people are still following. And yeah, before this comes. Then we've got the affiliative leader, right? This is all about building connections and all of that. And then democratic, right? Democratic is all about everybody gets a voice, right? Really want to tap into the knowledge of all the people, make sure we hear from everybody. And then finally, the coaching, right? And this is all about developing other people, right? And so these are our styles. So take a moment at your table. Give you 2 minutes for this. The leader that you pick, what do you imagine that their default style is? There's not a right or a wrong answer, right? And at your table, you get to decide, oh, our leader, their default style is going to be whichever one of these 6 you think is most likely to be their style. If you've got this leader, they've got a situation, they're going to have to step up and provide leadership for. You've examined these 6 leadership styles. You've imagined, oh, what type of leader that we're working with. And it turns out that where we're going is realizing that while all of us have a default, the leaders who are really amazing learn to step outside of what you're comfortable with, what you're used to, what your default is, and learn how to use other styles that honestly you're going to have to like actively practice and consciously think about to develop that skill. So the next tool we're bringing in, we're going to mash up with these leadership styles, is the Satir Change Model. So Virginia Satir was this family therapist person. And a little while later, people like Jerry Weinberg and other folks adapted some of the work used in the workplace. Some of them really, really, really well. My favorite bit of it is this thing called the Satir Change Model. So, on the vertical axis of our curve is performance. And performance is whatever you're trying to make happen, right? Ooh, speed to market. Okay, fine. Right, that can be up there. Company morale. Whatever it is you're trying to optimize for or maximize, that's on the vertical axis of our blue graph. Time is on the horizontal. And this curve is something that we have all been through many times in our life. This is like how individuals, small groups, large groups, react to change. So we start out, and the first part of the model is called status quo, right? Hey, we're just doing what we normally do, everything's fine, right? No problems. And then somebody introduces some change, like, hey, we need to start using AI around here. And of course, immediately everything gets, yeah, right, it doesn't get better. Right, we fall into chaos. Because it's like, this is new, this is different, we don't know what to do about it, we don't know what our role is, it's a mess. Eventually, there is this moment that I like to call transformation. I think exactly Satir, Virginia called it something slightly different. I just call it the moment of transformation, which is where we get our head around like, oh, how could this work for us here? Right? Given what we're actually trying to do together, how could we apply this new thing here? In my day-to-day work, I help organizations use Scrum. Right? Used to help them adopt Scrum. These days, I'm usually helping them fix it. Turns out there's a lot of Scrum out there. And so at that moment where we finally get our heads around like, oh, I see how this could work for us, it still doesn't immediately get better. Like our performance actually usually still gets worse for a little while, but the chaos abates, right? It's like, okay, we see it. We see how we can do this. And then over time, we go through this period of practice and integration, right? And it's like, okay, we're doing it, and we see how it's going to help us get better. And then eventually, right, we get to a new status quo, right? We stop talking about the new thing. Believe it or not, there will be a day where we stop talking about AI, right? It's, it just becomes like, oh, yeah, that's how we work, right? So this is the model. You might notice that at your tables, you've got a big piece of chart paper with that curve. So what we're going to do in the exercise is you are going to just, as a reminder to anybody who walks by your table, take a Post-it note. You're going to write just the name of the persona that you're working with. So I got hold on. I'm going to stick it right here on my curve. And then you are going to write on the other Post-it notes the different leadership styles. Many as you like. And then you are going to talk at your table and place them where you think they might be useful for your leader in their situation. Now, you do not have to use all of the styles. You could use some styles more than once, right? But maybe if my team would talk about it and say, oh, in the status quo period, we think Milan is very coercive. So we put that there, right? And then we think, oh, at the moment of change, oh, they're going to suddenly switch to approaching You get the idea, right? Maybe in here they want to be tasted. Right? So this is your mission for your leader in their scenario, given their default style. Which of these styles do you think will serve them best? And think about why. And at the very end of this, we do all the time. You're going to get to present the model to one of the other. All right, so this has been interesting to see, walk around and see what you're all up to. And particularly interesting group here. So, what did I give you, 5 scenarios, 6 scenarios, something like that? What scenario did we pick here? How many tables pick Milan? And I think, what was, so what do we have here? And how many tables picked David? And I don't think anyone picked, did anyone pick anybody else? Cindy. Oh, okay, so we have, okay. Interesting. All right, so here's what I'd like to have happen. So, all the folks over here, stand. Okay. All right, so now, take your right index finger, put it on your nose. I'm kidding. Come on over to the table across from you. So you're kind of like a table that's sitting. And folks that are sitting, you've got about 3 minutes to walk your neighbors through what you came up with your model. So about 3 minutes, we'll show and tell. All right, so what do you think I'm going to have you do now?
Stand up.
Yep. Come on over to your neighbor's table and